Welcome back to the Manosphere Paradigm. Today, I want to talk about none other Corey Wayne, a dating coach that is he's one of the big I would say voices within the YouTube when it comes to talking about relationships. He's got over 478 subscribers. And when I've listened to his content in the past, I've enjoyed it. He sounds to me like a very well balanced and well rounded guy. However, when it comes to what I've listened to and some of the discussions and content that I've seen on YouTube, YouTube, the algorithm is amazing. It keeps on sending you certain things the way it seeks you out and brings certain information to your attention. For me, it's still I'm talking about something, and then all of a sudden I see it in my suggestion feed. But one of the videos I'm going to react to, I was surprised at what he was saying, where he goes through a email that he received from one of his viewers talking about the experience with the Red Pill. Now, if you've watched this channel for a while, you've been watching Manosphere content, you understand we within the Manosphere, we are basically wanting men to understand what the marketplace, what the marketplace is currently is. Have men basically understand those facts as to how women are moving, and understand how they need to align themselves and adjust to be able to get the success that or the outcomes that they want. Like shout out to Rolo Tomasi, he always says the Red Pill and the tools that we give within the Red Pill is always to help men to overcome and to be equipped to basically understand why things is happening the way it is happening, understand the mechanics as to the thought pattern behind why women do certain things, aka a pergamy, and also how we as men, what our nature is, and what, like we always say that men, we love idealistically. We are the ones that's wanting to at times want to have one woman where we want to provide for a family, but we also have that internal nature wanting to also explore and enjoy different variety. It's always that thing that is in us. But if a lot of men want to have one woman, have a family, and settle down and basically provide for their family and have kids. So that is what men love idealistically. However, when it comes to women and hypergamy, they love opportunistically. They love and make sure that they get the best deal, they get the best guy for where they are when it comes to making use of their beauty, their agency. That is their biggest currency. They use that to their benefit to get the best possible option in the guy that they are wanting. So these are just the things that we talk about. And in the Manosphere and RP awareness and RP content that constantly gets created and put on YouTube from different sources, it's always about giving the facts and telling you, just basically reporting on what's happening. A lot of times people is misquoting the Red Pill as being a philosophy and ideology, but we are not creating a philosophy for people to follow. We are just reporting on the facts, as the RP is a praxology. It is where it's the study of human action and human behavior. So we are seeing how women are saying one thing and they are doing another thing. And there's been a lot of, over the years and over the decades, there's been a lot of men that has contributed to the Manosphere space. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. There is quite a few guys that's in the space currently. It's Rolo Tomasi, it's the guys at Fresh It Fit. It is Stephus Cold, it is MJ Get Right. It is AMS, it is Mediocre Tutorial Reviews. However, he classifies himself as part of this Manosphere. It's not my words, that's what he said. But at the end of the day, you know what? I want to get into this video and break down as to what he is saying, and although he is accusing the Red Pill of whatever, the same things at times what he is saying is the same things that he's doing. So a level of projection, but not for me to basically tell you and gear you up as to against him. Let's hear the what he's got to say and let's get into it.
Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be why you should reject the toxic red pill. So I have an email success story, and this is from a guy who he said he started following me about 5 years ago. And he says he's a good looking, handsome dude. And when he was in high school, lots of women were telling him how good looking and handsome he was, the hot cheerleaders. But he was, as he puts it, he was such a Disney nice guy that he always was getting friend zoned. And then obviously 5 years ago, he came across this sweet little book with this shaved haired dude on it named Coach Corey Wayne. Started applying what he learned in 3% Man and got amazing results.
And you know what? That is exactly a lot of guys and a lot of I mean guy friends that I have at times. You know, we in this era of where we're able to share information quickly through via WhatsApp, via Facebook, Instagram. You can click on an article, share it. Um, Sometimes in the past we did a screenshot. If you weren't that technically savvy, you would take a screenshot, send it to someone. But nowadays people are sharing content, and you can go directly to that video and enjoy it on your smartphone. So in the past, a lot of friends of mine and people that I know shared information, and at times Corey Wayne's video would come up where you would see it, and would, depending on what he's discussing and what the topic is that someone wants to bring to your attention, you know, you'd share that video and you talk about it. And that is also how a lot of guys came about and got his content and read these books. I myself read the 3% Man, 3% Man. It is a good book. It's a, well, like I said, Corey Wayne is a well balanced guy and well rounded guy. And the advice that he's giving you is where he's coming from, this mentality of making you yourself as the center. And then everything then from there will then obviously would be a branch out of what you know what you want to achieve, and you are the one that's determining your destiny. However, guys get into trouble when they are the ones that is falling into the frame of the girl that they like, and basically follow her lead. And unfortunately, she's gonna lead you over the cliff of that relationship, because at the end of the day, she is not designed to lead. She is wants you to lead, and if you do not do that and set the frame from the beginning, then you are setting yourself up for failure. But the way he mentioned it, that's exactly how guys get into his content, and obviously go further into reading his book in getting a better and detailed understanding when it comes to intersexual dynamics, or yeah. So let's just
And
go forward.
then he came across the toxic red pill community. And he said he got immersed into it, became really bitter towards women, and his success with women plummeted.
Mm.
And then obviously he was very frustrated, came back to my work,
uh
started applying it, and things returned to normal.
so what he's saying is, the guy basically read his book, and was things was happening for him. He was going on the right path, and he was basically having success with women. Unfortunately, when he discovered the red pill, dun dun dun, that is when things went sideways, and he returned to the book, and all of a sudden everything went back to normal. You know, for me, I I've seen that, and what I've experienced is that there's so many resources, there's so many different content creators that you can learn from. And when you have someone that's getting to this point of telling you that their book is the only way, and if you read their book, that you will basically be going at and hitting those markers and basically getting success. I am tend to get wary about that, because although we are all talking the same message and wanting men to be better, and to get better and to self-develop, put in the work, and basically be the best versions of themselves, there is a lot of men that is talking from a number one, speaking from the facts, and then also then giving their own personal experience as to what they went through. I mean, when you check out AMS, he always talks about how he was one of the biggest sims back in the day. You know, a lot of guys, if they can relate with you and understand your story, they can identify and see themselves at times maybe making the same mistake. So, you know, that whole framing that he did there for me is just um it's just a bit off. But let's go further in the video.
So it's a really good, interesting success story from a guy because I've talked about this off and on, and I talk about some of these guys in the I don't typically mention names, but in the toxic red pill community, it's just they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. To be honest with you,
Okay. So he's saying that the RP community does not know what they are talking about. I would have liked him to elaborate on that, because if you are going to accuse someone and tell someone that you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and you're going to make a blanket statement like that, then you surely need to back that up and give a quick summary as to why you believe what you believe and why you say what you are saying. But if you are just making a statement and you are disqualifying someone and calling them, just like telling them they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, um, you know, that same way of you shaming them, I think you are showing a bit of emotion when it comes to saying that and not providing any explanation. Because if you are making a accusation or you're making a statement, negative statement about them, then surely you need to be able to back it up. And if you can't, then my friend, you're in your feelings.
that's the reality. And the beauty of truth is truth doesn't need any explanation. It
Um,
doesn't have to prove itself. It's simply self-evident.
so you know, when it comes to listening to Corey, you get this um, kind of calming guru type of approach when it comes to talking and giving you this blanket statements. Truth is self-evident, and you know that's his opinion. My thing is, a lot of times guys do not have the ability to understand or decipher information, and sometimes the truth is staring you in the face, but then you can't identify it. And only when you are given the tools to be able to decipher and are able to identify the truth will you be able to then see it, learn from it, and then be able to see where you need to course correct and what you need to be able to adjust in your life, to be able to, you know, get the results that you're looking for and wanting for. So this whole um, kind of zen moment and giving you this whole spiel about truth for me, um, and that's all about sounds all about what's that crystals and all this fairy dust type of thing. But let's go further and see what he's got to say.
And so when it comes, like what I always say to people is like, even if you think I'm full of crap, if you apply what I teach, you'll see that it works for you. You can Google my name. You can go in the Reddit forums. There's even when people go and
Let's just
write
skip a bit.
fuck my mind, and like Steve McQueen used to say, I live for myself and I answered. And so with that said,
Let's get into it.
quote says, most of the red pill community on the internet is a collection of wounded men who don't understand women, haven't had any success with quality women, and guys with serious mommy and self esteem issues.
So yes, when it comes to men within the RP community, a lot of men, unfortunately, they encounter the red pill after they have gone through a certain trauma, whether it is a relationship that they've had, most likely, and I would say most of the time it is where men have had issues with women, and they have been the ultimate nice guy doing everything that they think they're supposed to have done and done everything by the book, and then unfortunately reap negative results and do as they are basically completely shocked and do not understand why they're getting the results they're given, because they unfortunately have subscribed and fallen into the trap of following the Disney fairy tale. And when that Disney fairy tale basically falls apart, they find themselves confused, they found themselves full of anger, and they do not understand. And that is when they go on to that journey of discovery and seeking out information and wanting to know and understand why. That is the pragmatic thing that comes through in men. We want to understand the mechanics of a thing. If there is some guys, they've got this ability to take an engine apart. For me, at times when I look at that, I was like, how the hell do you know how to put everything back? But if you understand all the components and how it works and the sequence, the cylinders, and all these wonderful things as to how it works, that is the thing that a lot of guys, some of us have different skills, and some of us from the outside looking in is thinking to himself, how the hell do you understand the complexity and, like I mentioned, an engine to be able to put that thing back together again? That is the same type of hunger that men get when they fall into this situation where they have experienced a negative and traumatic event in their life when it comes to women, and they go out to seek that information and wanting to understand mechanics of intersexual dynamics and how the hell does it work. So that is what he's talking about, but his framing of it is just this whole blanket statement that these are all weak, um, wounded men. While that is not Corey saying that, but the guy that's sent the email, and he's obviously happy to to blast that out to the world. But let's go further.
The hallmark of the toxic red pill community is their judgmental attitude and bitterness towards women that belittles them, infantilizes them, and seeks to build wounded, insecure men up by tearing women down with dehumanizing and condescending language, words, theories, and a cult like belief in meaningless platitudes. As
Okay. So, unfortunately, like I said earlier, when it comes to the truths and when it comes to facts, statistics, and data, facts, and statistics, whichever way you want to say it, when we are highlighting certain facts and it is brought, presented, when those facts negatively portray women, that is not the RP saying a negative thing about women and basically blasting that to the world and saying, you see, that's why they bad. No. We are in the manosphere, we talk about certain statistics, we talk about how the internet has negatively influences relationships and how 80% of people meet each other today in today's day and age on via online platforms and dating apps, and how that negatively impacts men when women only look at the top 20% and disregard the 80% of men and only want the top 20%. Those are the facts that we highlight. We talk about OnlyFans. We talk about how women basically do the things that negatively affect their future with a man that they really want. How showing your body to the world, basically being a 304. You can go check out and see what that means. Go take a calculator, type it the number 304, turn it around, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But if we are talking about the facts and the things that women are doing that is negatively in portraying them negatively by the things that they are doing, and how society accepts these things as to be normal, then unfortunately it is not the RP and or the manosphere that is basically the ones that is talking negatively about women. It is the facts and that we are presenting that is negatively portraying women. That is not our doing. We are just presenting the facts, and we are just here to report the message, and that's basically what it is. We wanting to make sure men understand what is currently what the base level is, what's happening, and identify certain things that affects how men and women interact. So if that is negatively portraying women, Corey and his viewer is negatively looking at that and saying that if they do that, if RP men present the facts, then we are the bad guys. And that is not what we are seeking to do. We are only, like I said, portraying and giving the facts.
Zan Piran says, a man who loves women.
Okay, he's going to go on this some long, another quote that's irrelevant.
Blind spots and choices,
Okay,
mistakes, blind spots and poor romantic choices, mistakes, blind. Man who loves women is loved by women. Real men
A man who loves woman is loved by woman. Okay, that sounds beautiful. That sounds amazing. But women do not want and likes nice guys. They don't want guys that pander to them. They will say they like them. They say those are the men that they want. But in reality, when it comes to their actions, it shows otherwise. They will go for the bad boys and the men that man who loves woman. Isn't that a nice guy that's wanting to do everything for them and basically say, I've done this for you, so now you need to give me A, B, and C. We all know that is not the way it works. So if that is what Cody and these viewers saying that just be nice, I mean, I think he definitely doesn't believe that because I've seen previous videos of him where he's clearly against that. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's get back into it.
Men take extreme ownership of their lives, choices, mistakes, blind spots, and poor romantic choices because they know that is the only way to shape and change their destiny to reach their full potential. A man who blames others for his poor choices, knowledge gaps, and blind spots becomes unable to fix himself, his life, and become the man he needs to be to attract what he really wants and deserves in life.
Okay. So when it comes to that statement that is made right there, I do agree with him. Men, have the responsibility to make sure that you are putting in the work, you are equipping yourself, you are gaining the knowledge, you are making sure that you are creating yourself into a valuable man that is recognized, that you work on the way you speak, the way you present yourself and carry yourself, the way you make sure that you also invest in your purpose, and also make sure that you overall grooming and the way you basically present yourself physically is obviously pleasing to the opposite sex so that you can attract them and basically be seen as someone that is obviously attractive. So I do agree with him that what you allow into your life and the type of woman you allow into your life, you need to take accountability and responsibility for that. However, when it comes to the dating pool, in the way I see it, um, a lot of society and the way people are going about things, women are always being encouraged to go for their careers, don't care about a relationship, don't invest in the relationship. They don't care or worry about the relationship in their 20s. They wait until their 30s, into their mid 30s, even late 30s. They wake up and decide, you know what, I want to get married now. However, unfortunately, when it comes to their fertility window, it is extremely and very negatively impacted for them to be able to have children. So there is certain things that makes up today's dating scene, and those things are the things that we basically present and talk about within the manosphere. Now, what Corey is doing and his viewer is doing is wanting to live in this perfect world of basically saying you just need to be the guy that's the right guy, the guy that is making sure that you are doing the things that is that's gonna get you into the winning position, and everything's gonna work out. There's no guarantees in life. You can do everything right. You can put in the work. You can make sure that you are the lead in your relationship. Your chick follows your frame and submits to your frame. You guys work together, and she's there to support you and is the helpmate. And you are basically making sure that you're giving her security and provision, and you're also giving her mentorship and guidance. When you are providing all of those things, and for whatever reason, you on your purpose, you're doing what you're doing, and you are making sure that you are keeping that relationship where the polarity, I would say, it's polarized to an extent that you basically are the guy that is leading that relationship. Then the chances of that relationship going south is obviously minimal. However, it is not completely eradicated. Why? Because of female hypergamy. They will always look for a better deal. Now, are we saying that some women have the ability and obviously have had the ability to suppress and to control that hypergamy? But in today's day and age, one of the things we always tell men, do not let your woman get bored with you. You need to be someone that is obviously making sure that you are interacting with her and giving her the emotional um, uh, 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 um, emotional, I would say the emotional roller coaster that you take on the highs and the lows, and you basically just sometimes when you obviously when you get married, you tend to fall into a routine, but you still need to be able to make sure that you are on your game and you remain to be the guy that she fell in love with and wanted to be with in the first place. The big thing and the most important thing that I always tell married guys is that we tend to fall into this thing of being basically comfortable, and then we start getting lazy, we start getting fat. I myself went to a stage like that, but then I recovered and basically got into the swing of things of making sure that I cycle, I did triathlons, I ran, I swam. I've done all kinds of different activities. I hiked and just kept myself active, and push myself when it comes to my career and working as hard as I can to basically be able to provide and to create a security and long-term security for us as a family. So I get what he's saying, but also I'm saying that he's wanting us to, according to his views, wanting to live in this world where we put on the blinkers. And if you do this, follow the 3% book, then you will get everything right. So for me, that is also just kind of a pie in the sky because there's no guarantees in life. I just want to skip a bit further and see to get through the video.
Look at the reviews and read the reviews of my books. Speaks for themselves. Growing up, I was always a good-looking guy and had women approach me, but I was such a Disney nice guy that I would always get friend zoned and frustrated.
Yep.
So this guy's a handsome dude, but yet you give off the.
Okay, let me
And
just skip
so
there.
for me personally, I love getting email, your first girlfriends or the king, but I had no idea how to behave around women because
Okay, it's just
she'll
talking about
eventually
his journey.
realize I'm perfect for her. Queens enter my life.
So he's just talking, he's going through talking about his journey as to what kind of type of guy that he is, the viewer, and also what his experience has been so far with women. So I want to get to this part.
I'm used to it, dude. Fuck them if they can't take a joke, as Mick Jagger said. It got me back in touch with your teachings. YouTube algorithms introduced me to Red Pill
There
Guys
you
a
go.
couple of years ago. And while there are some good takeaways from works like The Rational Male, which I think is a good book and every man should read, me personally, over time I found my success with women deteriorate in correlation to my bitterness from the red pill community. And that's the problem with it.
So what he's talking about is red pill rage. That is when you have men basically, once you have gone through, like I said, certain men, or at least most men, they go through a traumatic experience. They start trying wanting to have this understanding about why things is going the way it's going, why they are always losing and on the losing end when it comes to women. And they go on this discovery. They go onto the internet. They basically encounter videos in the Manosphere, videos from my platform, other platforms, and basically get into the stage of understanding. Once they get the knowledge and understand why certain things happen to them and why certain women in their lives did certain things or treated them a certain way, once that total awareness and understanding comes around and getting it, they basically get into this complete red pill rage that we call it, and they start becoming bitter. Now once you're in that phase of being red pill and having that red pill rage, that is a very critical moment for you as a man, because you can go one of two ways. You can either go the black pill route, which is basically staying in that bitterness, completely vilifying and looking at women in the negative light and basically writing them off and constantly just being negative towards them. And the way that you approach relationship as a whole, you've given up on dating, you've given up on being with someone or experiencing and being around women. You've gone the complete black pill route. That's number one, and that is what he's talking about. But then there is number two, You have one, if you take the road of RP awareness, you've now come across the knowledge, you've accepted the information for what it is, because again, it's not an ideology, it's a praxology, it's the study of human behavior and the human behavior and action. Keep on forgetting that. But once you basically understand it now, you understand the mechanics of it. You are now saddled with all that information, and guess what? Now it's time to act. You can either continue and sit and sulk in it, or you can say to yourself, you know what? Now I know why things has happened to me. I understand why certain things went the way it did, and I actually don't blame a woman or whatever partner you had in the past for doing A, B, and C, because you can see yourself in that situation now with RP awareness, understanding how weak you were, or how misguided or confused you were in the way you went about interacting with the opposite sex. So that is red pill rage. And like I said, that is the crucial point in your journey of either going the complete negative route and saying, you know what, I'm going to go black pill and I'm not going to interact with women. I'm basically going to write them off. I'm going to constantly talk shit about them. And I'm basically going to just be this guy that is completely enraged and bitter. Or you can use the knowledge to your advantage, become better, and then use it to basically become better at game, get more knowledge, understand your muscles, game, and frame, get your shit together, and then work the system. Basically, work the system. And one of the things we also say within the RP, if you want to get with a woman or you want to be romantically involved with a woman, do not tell her about the RP. Do not bring it up in conversation. Don't bring it up around women where you just want that looks up to you and wants to, that is sexually attracted to you for whatever, Don't bring it up unless they are asking you certain questions about the relationship, and you can subtly basically put in the RP and knowledge that you have into the conversation and help to basically give them better advice as to maybe a problem that they are facing. That is what women will always come to, and they can pick up that order and understand that the level of knowledge that you possess. And like I said, and we always say, if you want to get what that woman, and basically, like Corey also says, do some bedroom fun. And coach, what's his name, Coach Greg Adams also said, monkey monkey battle, double backflips. That's what he calls it. Then I'm gonna tell you, do not talk to a woman about RP knowledge that you have. However, if it's in a setting where you're debating and having a discussion about intersexual dynamics, and they are wanting to understand, they've heard about the infamous Andrew Tate. I get that a lot. People have heard, ladies have heard about it. They know what I talk about, and they'll come to me and want to discuss Andrew Tate. And then I have to basically go through and get them to get past the emotion of Andrew Tate, and then give me one point that they disagree on, and then we can go back and forth and basically peel back the layers and understand what he's trying to say, and then debate and go back and forth and basically elaborate in discussing the point that he's making. So red pill rage, it is a real thing. It is not something that is negative. I would say it is something that happens to you where you have all these negative emotions, but it's a crucial time for you to basically get past that and move on to becoming RP aware, or going the negative route. So let's just finish up with this video and I will close things off.
I had no issue meeting women, but I found myself getting into more drama and bullshit than before, but closing the indoor Olympics less.
Exactly. The indoor Olympics, like you mentioned, getting with a woman. If it's a woman that you're interested in and you want to do the indoor Olympics, then do not talk about RP content. Do not talk to her about intersexual dynamics. Talk to her about what's happening in her life. Have how can I say, have engaging conversation, stir emotions, ask about things that she enjoy, be in depth and be knowledgeable about certain things. Have a life, have hobbies that you can talk about. Don't oversell yourself. let her be the one talking the most, and basically giving you this all the information as about what she's about, what's innermost desires about certain things, the career she went into, why she went into it, what made her to decide on it, those kind of questions, and basically take her through an emotional journey where you're teasing her and you are having fun with each other. It's all about having fun. And that is one of the things that Corey Wayne stresses with it in his book, The 3% Man. So, my opinion is that again, Corey Wayne, he's a well-rounded guy. He gives decent advice. I have experienced it with the content that he has. Him basically writing off the Red Bull completely, and basically just writing them off and saying that all the guys in the RP is toxic Red Bull. That to me, I don't believe that, and I don't think that he is not even engaging those guys and talking to some content creators within the space. He's talking to certain men that has a complete negative um, picture and a negative approach against someone else, and they have managed successfully to get them on board to shut on the Red Bull and to get guys to be confused, because now guys are looking at this from the outside in and seeing, but you're someone that's also a content creator helping men. They are also a content creator helping men. Why is there this disconnect, and why is there this level of animosity? I would also think to myself and ask the same question and say, you know what? Why is Corey Wayne doing what he's doing? I think to a certain extent, he's always been enjoying a certain level of audience when it comes to his content that he's been creating. And now that a lot of content creators within the RPs, the Manosphere, and bringing across RP awareness and RP content to men, it's taken a lot of that viewership away from him. And to a certain extent, that attempt to kind of sanitize the Red Bull to be more palatable for society as a whole, that is something that I can see from my viewpoint. That's maybe something that's trying to do, but also capitalizing on the RP popularity while shitting on it. For me, that that is just that's just off. And I'm going to say, you know what? I don't want to contribute to this negative type of back and forth and beef. But if I'm going to see something like this, him shitting on the Red Bull, the viewer's opinion and what his experience is obviously valid. I'm not going to discredit that. But his assertion of it and interpretation of the Red Bull based on his own negative emotion and not understanding that he's going through Red Bull rage and having to work through that, that is his journey he needs to walk. But I would have thought someone like Corey Wayne would have been able to have the knowledge that he has and be able to correct that and give a better explanation and elaborate a bit further. But all he's doing is just basically shitting on the Red Bull, and I'm not down for that. I have, from my standpoint, given you and told you exactly why I say what I say and explained to you the Red Bull, where we talk about certain truths within intersexual dynamics and basically life as a whole. RP, we always box it in this thing of just Red Bull content being for relationships. But we never you should understand that Red Bull is basically unplugging from the matrix. Yes, we're talking about the matrix yet again, and people, are you guys talking about the matrix? That is so immature, blah blah blah. Whatever, get over it. We just using that as a point of reference so that you can understand what we are talking about, because it is still a matter of unplugging men, and a lot of men are not wanting to be unplugged. We understand the ciphers of the world. If you haven't watched the movie, you don't know what you are missing. But check out the Matrix again if you need to understand the ciphers of the world, how they will sell you out. And I think to a certain extent, I wouldn't call Corey Wayne a cipher that is not needing to be unplugged. I think he is unplugged. I think he's just wanting to kind of like keep men on his plantation. Come to my book, check out my book, only read my book. And if you do follow the things in my book, only then will you have success. I would say I'm not down for that. There is a lot of content that's out there. He's mentioned the Rational Male. I'm currently reading the Rational Male. Um, what is that one? Masculine. What is it? um, Positive Masculinity. That's the book I'm reading, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Go check out the Rational Male. He's got so many books. I think he released a new one recently as well. I believe so. There's so many other sources that you can learn from. There's AMS. There is Rich Cooper from Unplugged Male, Unplugged Alpha. You got so many other people that has released books. There's certain pickup authors that I do actually listen, watch, which is um 33 Secrets. I watch him. I still enjoy his content out there in Las Vegas. I see you and shout out to you. I said Matt Cross, I believe. And I'm enjoying his content. There's so many people that you can learn from, and having this narrow view and saying that only if you read my book and follow everything in my book, you will only be successful. I think that's narrow minded. It is what it is, Corey. But you know what? I just wanted to bring this to your attention. It is a bit of a long video. I wanted to keep it short, but I wanted to basically go through and react to what he has said, and not just pull out clips and just respond to clips and create a different picture. I wanted him to speak for himself, Corey Wayne, and I wanted you to listen to what I've got to say in a deciphering and breaking up and breaking down basically the video. So I hope you enjoyed it. It was a bit of a long one, but I wanted you to be concise, and I wanted to not miss anything, and I didn't want to misrepresent anything either. So I'll see you guys in the next vid. I'll see you. Cheers. I'm out.